Okay, here's an interesting story. It's got a little bit of, a little bit of fluff to it, but I promise you it's a little bit more substantive than you think. Kanye West, man, is crashing so hard. I ain't never seen anybody crash this hard. Kanye West just released a new album, and it is called Cuck. Great name, great name. Very evocative, Kanye, or Yeezy, or whatever the fuck you're calling. Not CZ. Is that what we're going with these days? Because he's going around all day long wearing like a bejeweled swastika, medallions on his necklace, and he's hanging out with, closeted case, Nick Fuentes, who is a self-avowed full-on Nazi, and he just dropped a song called Hail Hitler. And in the chorus, it says, N-word Hail Hitler, over and over again. And, like, personally, I'm not a big Kanye fan. I remember listening to Jesus Walks, and I thought, this is not bad. It's not bad. It's got a good hook to it. Personally, I think that the music that he's released since he's taken his Hitler arc, it's not been very good. The guy should be on some kind of medication, lithium, Seroquel, something. He's obviously not taking his medication. He's very manic, and he is addicted to nitrous. I mean, hell, in this song that we're talking about, the Hail Hitler song, there's a line in it that says, yo, you bring in the nitrous. This is a guy who is mentally damaged and really upset that he is not allowed to see his kids. He's writing that in the lyrics of the song, and then the chorus comes along and it's N-word Hail Hitler, N-word Hail Hitler, over and over again. And I've heard a handful of people say, ooh, it's catchy. It's not catchy. And I'm also seeing videos out there on Twitter that, white people driving down the road singing the song with their full chest, just letting it all hang out there, staying both feet on the ground talking about Hail Hitler. It's catchy. I don't really care what is making Kanye do this, whether it's, he really is a psychotic fascist now. I mean, we've all seen it so many times. But I know that the effect that this is having, I know the effect that it is by normalizing this kind of rhetoric, you are basically giving people carte blanche to just use this rhetoric in their daily lives. All of a sudden, Hitler's getting a fucking glow up because people like Kanye West and Candace Owens, who, by the way, she was one of the first people to hang out with Kanye and kind of get him on board with this. Candace Owens, just to give you a little background on her, she used to work for Ben Shapiro at the Daily Wire. And up until the point where she started to say that Israel is killing children in Gaza. Now, normally this is where I would agree with her, but she is absolutely coming from the wrong place. A little bit further background on Candace Owens. Back in the day, some 10 plus years ago, maybe more, she was in high school and she had a discrimination case against her. Not against her. The school had done something discriminatory towards her. And she ended up getting awarded some money because the school did discriminate against her. And at one point, when she first started her YouTube podcaster journey, I wouldn't call her a progressive, but she was definitely centristy, lib-coded. And then she meets Charlie Kirk of the Turning Point USA, TP, Toilet Paper USA. And, he thought that she would be a great addition. And, he helped to mold her a little bit from a squishy liberal to a much more harder edge conservative. So she worked for Turning Point USA for a while until Ben Shapiro offered her a bigger sum of money, and then she started working for the Daily Wire for Ben Shapiro. And one of my favorite little Candace stories was she she, along with a couple other people, were giving a talk to a bunch of students at a college. I can't remember the college. I think it was in the UK, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been Cambridge, but she was giving a talk. And she said that Hitler wasn't that bad because he was just trying to make Germany great again. But when he invaded Poland, he became a globalist, and then that's when he became bad. All of the the Nazi stuff inside the country, that was okay. That's making Germany great again. But as soon as he invaded Poland, that's when he became bad. And that was like in the early part of her career. And a lot of people that heard that were kind of shocked about it. But now that's just everyday conversation. And she was one of Kanye West's staunchest defenders. So when I see Ben Shapiro right now criticizing this Hail Hitler song that Kanye's doing, it's like, dude, you helped make this possible because you hired Candace Owens. And Candace Owens was one of his biggest spokespeople. She gave him a lot of really bad talking points. There was one point where Kanye West was doing an interview years ago, and they were talking about slavery. And Kanye West just come right up out of his face with, slavery sounds like a choice to me. That's what he said. Slavery sounds like a choice. A lot of people had a lot of things to say about that. Yeah, man, a choice, under threat of hanging or, getting shot or getting the dog sicked on you. Yeah, those slaves had choices. Sure, bud, sure. Well, Kanye has, he's been doing his Nazi arc for a while, and this song, this not a banger song, this full-on I Love Hitler song, it is not allowed up anywhere except for one place. And I'll give you 3 guesses, and the first don't count. That's right, Twitter. Twitter is the only place that is allowing this up, because free speech, because every time you pay $8 a month for your free speech, that makes it free, right? When you pay for it, it makes it free. Or when, Elon Musk bans people for saying the word cis, or if anybody says anything that is contrary to, his jingoistic, Nazi-like beliefs. Anybody that criticizes him for doing his Sig Heils at the inauguration, he will ban those people. Or if you're Ken Klippenstein and you happen to get the OPSEC report for J.D. Vance before Donald Trump picked him as his vice president, Ken Klippenstein had that and was going to release it, and then it was taken down from Twitter and Ken Klippenstein was banned. So yes, when you tell me that Elon Musk is all about freedom of speech and, that's the reason why Kanye is allowed to put his video up on Twitter because of free speech, I'll just tell you where to stick it. And here's the thing. When a conservative talks about freedom of speech, they want the freedom to say the N word. They want the freedom to say the R word and all of the bigoted, racist, misogynistic shit that you can think of, all of the Nazi stuff, because a Nazi person will say something Nazi and then Elon Musk will go, "You have said absolutely the correct thing, sir. You are absolutely right about when somebody starts talking about skull features and phrenology and eugenics, you are absolutely right, sir. I am Elon Musk and I am seconding that racist notion." So that's the only place that he's allowed to do it. And when Republicans talk about freedom of speech, they're talking about that kind of freedom of speech, being able to say the worst shit possible. But that's not all that they want. They want to be able to say it, and also you do not get to say anything back to me. I get the freedom to say all of the horrible things, and You have absolutely no power to say anything back. Shut up. I get my freedoms. You do not. Now, that is not obviously not freedom of speech, but that is the freedom of speech that Elon and Kanye and Nick Fuentes and all of the little sycophantic Nazi boys out there, that's what they want. Now, here is the other side of that. Recently, NYU just had their graduation ceremony, and their valedictorian got up there to speak. And he spoke about the genocide that's going on in Gaza. He didn't speak at length about it. He said that we need to understand what's going on and shed some light on what Israel is doing to the Palestinians in Gaza. It is a genocide, it is an ethnic cleansing, and it is absolutely wretched and horrible. And he said that on stage, accepting his at his graduation speech, his valedictorian speech. Well, NYU has decided that he doesn't get to have his diploma now. Now, I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know if they're just holding back the piece of paper, or that the 4-year degree and the hundreds of thousands of dollars he spent, because NYU ain't cheap, folks. It sure as shit ain't cheap. But all the money he spent, all the time and the energy and the passing of the classes. And look, to be a valedictorian, you have got to have your shit together, my friend. You've got to study hard. You've got to get all of the good grades. And this guy busted his ass for 4 years, became valedictorian of his class of NYU. He says that there's a genocide going on in Gaza and Israel is doing it. And that is enough for NYU to take away his diploma. So we got one side of the country saying that we want free speech to be able to do and say whatever the hell we want to, and that's that. And meanwhile, we have NYU going, yeah, you can have freedom of speech on everything except Israel, except Palestine. You can't talk about that stuff. So do we have freedom of speech or not? Ultimately, what right-wingers, Kanye West, all those guys, what they really want for their freedom of speech is not the freedom to say what they want, and not even the freedom for you to tell them no or to chastise you for saying that awful thing. No. What they're mad about is that they can't fucking monetize it, because that's what this is. Kanye is releasing it on Twitter so he can monetize it. People say the racist, nastiest shit in the world so they can monetize it. Andrew Tate does his shit on Twitter so he can monetize it. Because Elon Musk is absolutely more than happy to direct views to your Twitter page. He's more than happy to direct money in your direction if you are saying the things that he likes. And if you are saying the things he don't like, then they either ban you or they just shove you down in the algorithm so nobody gets to see you or hear from you. And you basically don't exist. Just like that woman that he tried to impregnate, via Twitter, saying, how would you like to have my babies? And she didn't really answer the way he wanted to. So this woman who was making money, I think her name was Laura Chen, she was making money on Twitter. All of a sudden, no more money. She's shoved down in the algorithm. Nobody gets to see her. Nobody hears from her again because she turned down Elon Musk. So we have Kanye West releasing the most racist ass shit I've ever seen. The full-on fascism. It's here, folks. America, full-on fascist. And the other side is we have a young boy who graduated from NYU as a valedictorian, and he says, hey, maybe we shouldn't do genocide. Maybe America shouldn't be providing the weapons for Israel to facilitate that genocide. Maybe we shouldn't do that. Nope. Not only is it against our freedom of speech, apparently, in America, but they will literally cancel your diploma. So, way to go, America. Way to go. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like and subscribe. Keep rocking.